Hi everyone, my name is Samuela Davidova. I think, write and do live individual freedom, and I decided to make a series of shorter thought-provoking speeches, monologues of mine, which will be called Talks with Samuela Davidova, simply. And today I will speak about why you shouldn't aim for the passive income yet. Overall this sort of like series of speeches will be out, I hope, twice, maybe 3 times a week, and it usually comes out of certain discussions with my mentees because I do some mentorship. You can text me for mentorship opportunities to my email. I'll link here my link tree as well. And overall the thoughts are coming also from the Freeist project, which aims to help people to broaden their individual freedom and opportunities in life, and it will be out as a book this year, hopefully. So it's a series of practical stuff for life, actually, because of course mostly we limit ourselves but there are some practical steps you can take towards broadening the opportunities you have in life, and you stand oftentimes in your own way. So today I want to speak about why you shouldn't aim for the passive income, but also why you should, and it will be a lot about my recent experience, what I did myself, and what I've been working over the past 7 months. This is not some sort of investment advice or so on. It's rather it aims to provide you some different perspective on what you might be reading or hearing about. And it's not like, it's more like leading than telling you what you should do, because what you should do, it's about you to figure out in the end, always. So please do not seek for someone who will tell you how you should live your life, because we all be figuring it out ourselves all the time. All right, so my story, I've been working in IT for the past 3.5 years. It's been a great ride because it's a great industry with many smart people, and it really enabled me to go fully remote. Despite in the past I used to work in marketing, so it was a similar experience. IT is a very wide and deep industry which will enable you to learn a lot, to meet many very smart people and so on. And as I say about transition from one industry to another, you never really fully leave it. I think it sort of helped me to spark my interest into crypto industry. And I was very curious about cybersecurity, but in reality, sadly, mostly cybersecurity is just about compliance and some checklist for corporations. So it's just how it is. However, the idea of today's speech is about if you have a remote or if you have a full-time job, sort of like one source of income, what I recommend as part of the Freeist project is to build multiple sources of income. Why? Because it's like, imagine a chair. I have a chair here, I can bring it, but maybe I should lift chairs, I don't know. This is a chair. Okay, and the chair doesn't really stand on one leg, and if it does, it's not very stable, right? And I don't believe in stability in life, because nothing in nature is stable, and it's so normal. But I would recommend you to have multiple sources of income, because what happens when you have one source of income is that then you cannot really express yourself, you cannot be yourself, you cannot say how you feel about a job or so on, no matter how open culture you have, because you are actually scared that you will lose this job. So I know that many people aim for a full-time job for 20 years, but it's sort of like post-Soviet fairy tale, because in the past, if you grew up in Europe, so especially in Eastern Europe, so you grew up in family that was aiming you to have one full-time job forever, and it was, you know, like it's perceived as sort of stable income, but in reality this income is not stable at all. It makes you so dependent. It makes you like it's really like slavery sort of. You're waiting for your holidays to relax for 1 week a year, or 2 weeks, for 4 weeks, okay, you can say, because you're in socialistic Europe, so maybe you have even 8 weeks of holidays per year. So you don't live for, or the reality of most people is that they don't really live for 10 months a year to then spend 2 months somewhere where they want to. It's like, you know, postponing life for later, really. And you are surrounded by colleagues that you haven't chose. So it's always, especially when you have to go to the office, so you have some sort of collective of people you haven't chose. It's frustrating to you. You know, to me it used to be so stressful because I knew that people judge you when you meet them in person and so on. And I believe that we should choose our surroundings ourselves, and only then it works, you know, otherwise you're frustrated. And you say, oh, okay, that is like mild stressor, but from long-term perspective, it really kills you. It's like slowly dying, really. Oh my gosh, it's so harmful to speak about this. Okay, and I would say I had pretty nice cooperations over the past years. Pretty much, yeah, let's say so. But in reality, just now when I left my IT work or IT cooperation, I would call it like a major cooperation because I've been involved into multiple projects over the past months. So my major cooperation was in IT, and I realized now when I left the company how much it was right, so that you know, like my knowledge and potential did not correspond with the work I did actually. So it was such a right decision. And when I did it, I realized, Jesus, I was supposed to do this like years ago, actually, like to leave. But of course, you might think that it doesn't make any sense because it's IT. It's like always people will be searching for someone, and so on and so on. But it was not meeting my potential and my vision, and so I have to go my direction. Why you shouldn't aim for passive income first? Like if you are especially in the situation so that you want to leave your full-time job and you want to have some passive income. I really love the ideas from For Our Work Week. I recommend you to read it. Tom Ferriss overall, like I love his way of thinking and so on. I also love the way of thinking of Peter Levels, who's founder of the Nomad List, and he's much more pushing the execution really, so that you would just deliver, you would ship, you would just try different hypotheses, which this is much more my approach. The problem with passive income seekers is that you will most likely not really get there, and you will deliver something that is not really authentic to you or that doesn't really make sense. So it's not that easy. And I feel from other videos and the narrative on social media, I don't consume content much often, but when I see it, I see how many people get like hooked, like, okay, I will just be dropshipping something and so on. You can really do dropshipping. If you will go to Chiang Mai in Thailand, you know, like most people will tell you that they do some dropshipping of some stuff on Amazon, and this is how they make living, and they don't really mind, and it's okay, you know, it's totally fine. But if you really seek passive income that will really work on you and you will not innovate it, it's not how it works. It's like very fairy tale, childish position in a way that it's like, oh, I don't want to do anything. it will not really happen. Like even if you, let's say that you create a course. So I created a course, I created a nice, very nice, interesting course, thought-provoking on personal branding. You can find it on my Buy Me a Coffee, and after the payment you will be directed to the video. But I limited the seats, and one of the reasons is I want to keep it up to date in a way, like I will have to innovate it, I will have to reshoot it at some point, and so I want this to be limited by time period and so on. I will get some feedback, etc. Despite I believe that it's very good, it's really like thought-provoking and directs you the most important, the right way, so that you wouldn't waste your time on bullshit. It's like timeless, the ideas in the course. But still, I know that it's not really working so that you create something and it will be like this forever. It's like 4-hour work week book. It contains many sites that might not be really working anymore or so on. But the idea is rather in the core, so it still is worth reading, for example. If you believe that you will create something, especially now with ChatGPT, whatever, and it will be like low value stuff that is totally not authentic to you, sure, like totally, you can hit it, and maybe your product will be making millions, whatever. It's possible, as it's possible to win a lottery, you know? And so if you're like, the problem about lottery is like, it actually, again, makes you dependent because you have such high expectations, such high hopes about it, so that in the end, you actually become dependent on this like one thing chance. And what I recommend you instead of like aiming to just have one passive income, whatever, you would still be like very dependent on this sort of income, so that you create one product and you hope that it will sell itself. Then you realize that it's all about marketing. You have to sell it somehow you have to make the world know about this and so on. And it's not, I don't think that this is really a way to freedom. What is really freeing is, like when you have some courses, when you have some webinars, when you understand your value and what value you can provide to the world, and overnight you wake up in the morning and someone bought your course or book or whatever that has been authentic to you. So this is really freeing. This is beautiful, so that you don't have to really sell your time for products. So this is like good, and it works, it makes sense and so on. But first of all, it should come out of the need of people, and as best something that is like really yours, something that is really authentic to yourself. But at the same time, because it really takes time to figure it out, and I've been figuring out what is authentic to me for, I don't know, over a year. And it's okay. So yeah, you can start with something that is not authentic to you, and it will be fine as well. But from the long term, I really recommend you to be aiming for actually creating a value based on something that is authentic to you, because otherwise you may, like really climb a mountain that is not yours. And why I mention it, because when you put certain effort into something, no matter what is it, so there's no way so that over time you wouldn't get good in it. So you will get good at something, but then you realize like, okay, I really hate this, so it's not really, good. So this is why I really, even like for my mentees, I really try to direct them onto something to find out for themselves what is truly theirs. Because if you figure this out today, and if you go this direction today, so even if it's gonna be philosophy, which everyone will tell you, oh my God, it cannot be profitable, you can make it profitable and you will be very good in it over years. And so why I said that you shouldn't aim for passive income is like, if you want to leave your job, your full-time job, how about focusing on just like active income in a way that like really thinking of, what value I can provide to people and what I can do for them. And it can be just providing services. It can be, I don't know, whatever, like creating website, maybe if you work for some marketing agency, so you can actually do marketing on your own, like completely freelancing and making more money for less time and so on. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, of course you will have to communicate with the clients and so on. You will have to, again, like build your personal brand. Actually, I really recommend you the course to, if you want to start with this. But yeah, I will link it in the description. But it's much more important so that you would sort of create yourself freedom, like of being this chair. I showed you the chair. Like when you have a chair with 4 legs, it's really cool. And then at this point, you can actually choose the customers you want to work with. You can say, I don't know, you accept crypto only or whatever. And you can do much more things that are really yours. And they won't frustrate you from the long-term perspective, because now I see how much, if we allow certain frustration, if we tolerate certain frustration that might be mild but long-term in our life, it's much more harmful. It's really much more harmful than you know, like one big harm that is short-term, but you have enough time to recover. Yeah, so it's really like long-term frustration, long-term something that you tolerate. Toleration is not really good. I have a nice article about patience in this term on my Medium blog. I will link it as well, because it's very interesting. So yeah, I hope that this provided you some different angle on passive/active income and diversification of your incomes, because I think it's very important, and I wish you the best of luck. You will need a lot of confidence for it, but you can start small. Even if you make a few dollars, it's already good. Yeah, don't think that this will happen overnight. And the more likely you'll be satisfied with yourself, because otherwise it can be really frustrating. So I wish you not to hope for lottery, but I wish you to take ownership of your income diversification and creation. And I hope that you only will aim for jobs and for corporations that will be truly yours and that will satisfy you and your clients. Take care.